All right, so a lot of people want to share their story and make a difference in the world. They want to make a difference in people's lives. They want to not just share their story, but they also want to share the lessons they learned through their experiences so they can make a difference and help other people not make those same mistakes, or just teach other people things, which is great, because one of the greatest ways you're going to have a sense of accomplishment in life and a very great sense of meaning is when you invest your life and what you know into the lives of other people. You contribute to the better good of the world around you. But a lot of people make this one big mistake when they're first starting out and using their story, trying to share their story to make a difference. And I made this same mistake when I first started, because when I first began, I just, I started and I had people just tell me Brian, just go tell your story. Go tell your story, which is wonderful because that got me started. It got me in momentum. It got me moving. All right, so it wasn't a complete loss. But it wasn't too long after that I finally figured out that people, even though they won't say it, they really, really don't care about my story. You don't care about my Afghanistan war injury 10 years ago from a suicide bomber. I mean, it might be nice that, oh, wow, I'm glad you made it. But what you really care about is what my story can do for you. If you're going to be very honest with yourself, the reason you may be attracted to my story or someone else's story is because you see some sort of benefit. Maybe it's something that it's maybe a lesson you can learn that can help you overcome a challenge you're facing, or can help you get something you want. And it's no different with your story. Oh, I think someone coming to the door. Hey, Jamie. My wife has just walked in the door, and I'm doing a Facebook video talking about using your story. My dog Maverick is right here, my German Shepherd. Hey, check him out real quick. Say hi, Jamie.
Hi.
I said say hi, Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
All right, that was stupid. I know. It's like when you're at a restaurant and they say, "Hey, would you like cheese?" And you say yes, and they go, "Okay, just tell me when." Instead of telling them stop, I tell them when. But anyway, back to what I was saying about using your story. Nobody cares about your story. What they really, really, really care about is what your story can do for them. That's the big point here. All right, and so don't make the mistake of thinking I'm just going to go tell my story. I want you to think about how your story affects people. It's not about your story, but it's about not about telling your story from your perspective. It's about telling your story from other people's perspective. Here's a good example. Here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is when I first began using my story years ago, almost about a decade ago at this point, I would just go out and I would talk about what happened to me. And I really didn't know what else to do. I didn't know. And so, but I got started. That's what was most important, is that I got started. That's the biggest thing that holds most people back, is they won't just take that first step. But eventually I learned I had to learn how to position my story from a place where people actually care about it. So a good example is, instead of just going to, let's say, I do resilience training for the military all over the world. All right. So, instead of going to these program coordinators with the military for these military programs saying, "Hey, I'm Brian, I got blown up, I'd love to come share my story," even though that might be some inspiration in that, what they really want are some practical tools that their people can use, their service members and families can use. And so what I did is just like the subtitle of my book, Redeployed. I positioned it by saying, hey, I have this message called Redeployed. And it's about how combat veterans can fight the battle within and win the war at home. Now that's very compelling to a military family, to a military program coordinator who's trying to help these men and women keep their lives and their families together after 3, 4, 5 plus deployments to a war zone. All right, so it's not just, hi, I'm Brian, I got blown up and I'd love to come tell everyone about it. And it's not that I ever had any selfish ambition. I simply didn't know how to tell a good story. But, and here's another example. I do a lot of speaking in Christian men's conferences all over the country. And when I work with them, I don't ever approach them as, hi, I'm Brian, I'm this combat veteran who got blown up and I'd love to come tell you about my story. Even though I know they can benefit, I need to talk from a position of what benefits them. So one of the things, if you go to my website, fightbyfaith.com, that's my men's conference ministry faith-based website, what it says on there is something to the extent of helping men reconnect with God and each other so they can win the battles that matter most. Now, there are life lessons that I learned through my story that connect that and help men do that. So that's what's important. But when I approach somebody, I approach them, the meeting planner or the pastor in that case, from that perspective. I'm talking from a position where things matter to them. I'm using words that matter to them. And so one of the things you can do is, whoever you want to help, just go out there and figure out what it is they want, and then create a lesson for it. Create like a 3-point lesson plan about how they can get closer to accomplishing or actually get that thing they want. Or sometimes it's how to avoid something they don't want. All right, so again, I'm going to keep this short. We're at about almost 6 minutes now. I'm very long-winded. I'm known for that. But again, if you want to be effective, don't make the mistake of simply sharing your story and being done with it. Your story should be about 10% of your message. The lessons that apply to people where they are and helping them get what they want or helping them avoid what they don't want needs to be about 90% of that message. All right, so speak from their perspective, not yours. David Kelsey, I see you on there. Hey, David and his wife are both in the Use Your Story online mentoring program, where I teach you exactly how to do this. So I'm glad you're on here, David. I think you guys signed up a couple weeks ago. Hope you're enjoying it. And I know you guys are just doing great things. You have an incredible story yourself, each of you together, but also each of you independently. And so, and I want to tell you about this too. If you want to use your story to make a difference and make a lasting impact in people's lives, and oh, by the way, you actually do want to make some money doing it, because look, it's not about the money, but if you truly care about people and you believe in your message, you have to be able to produce financially, because you have to eat. Your kids, they like food, I promise, just like my kids do. And it's nice to have a house to live in. All right, so you have to be able to sustain your message financially, and that's where a lot of people go wrong too. And I won't go into that, but that's another big mistake. They think, well, my message is so good, and by making any money off it, I'm somehow evil, or trying to get in people's pockets, or I'll be perceived wrong. All this stuff that people just, where they think of it, I have no idea. But anyway, if you want to make a lasting difference with your story, with what you know, go to my website here. It is useyourstory.com. Useyourstory.com teaches you how to do exactly that, how you can make a lasting difference and an income doing it. All right, so your story matters. People need to hear what you have to say. By the way, I kind of look like that guy Wilson off of Home Improvement, don't I? Remember that old TV show? He's always up at the fence and he's got his eyes right here. You never see his face. Anyways, I have no idea where I thought of that. But one thing here, Rebecca Price says, great feedback. I'll take this to our Marines at Marforce when we provide training to them. That's awesome. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like an awesome thing. So keep up the great work. So anyway, if you want to tell your story in a better way and make a difference with it in people's lives, even through speaking or however you want to do it, simply go to useyourstory.com. The link should be in the description here. And I look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.